Hi, in this video we will store content in a slow database and use a second fast database to make sure that each content item is only stored once. In this program, our fast database is going to be a simple Python dictionary, and our slow database is going to be abstracted away by a store function which gets the content and the content key. We will not do anything other than printing these two values here, because this is just an abstract operation for now. And here we go. Content key, content. Okay, the main interface of this program is going to be a get content key function, which is going to get the content as a parameter. For now, return none as a stub, and we can do some test scenarios based on the interface to make sure that we get what we desire after we start to develop the code. So we are going to ask for the store key for some content. Let's just call this content 1 and then print it. The key is going to be the store key. Alright, let's repeat this one more time to make sure that we are not generating too many calls to the store function. We should be basically seeing a single store call for these two get content key calls. And let's also call the get content key function with a different content, so that we can see that a different ID is returned and the content key is stored as it is expected. Now let's start developing the get content key function itself. First we need the content hash. The content hash can be created as simply as calling the built-in hash function. And then comes the more interesting part. How do we get the content key itself? For our fast database, let's suppose we have an obsert operation that gets the content hash and returns the content key. In order to be able to figure out if we need to store the content right now, it will also have to return the content key and if this key is new or it was already present in the fast store. If you are coming from a different language, such as Java, you might be tempted to write something like this. Create a transfer class, and let's call it obsert result, and add nothing but fields into it. So a single constructor getting a key and an isNew flag, and just store these as values in this class. And the isNew as well. IsNew equals to isNew. Now we can return this as a single value. So let's write the logic as well. If the mapping database contains the content hash, in Python you can do that with content hash in mapping DB, which will automatically look if the content hash value is present in the key set. So if this is the case, we already have a store key for this value, and we can just return that. Return obsert result, and this will be the stored key for the content hash, and this is not a new key, so we set the isNew field to false. If we get further down the execution, this content hash is not present in the mapping database, so we will create a new key. We will use a UID, a GUID for this, and in particular the UID4 function. This is a random GUID, and let's put that as the value for the content hash. So now we have the new mapping and we can return the result. Obsert result is going to be the new key in this case, and since this is indeed a new value, we also set the isNew to true, and now we are ready to finish the get content key function. We call the obsert function and test. If this is a new key, then we need to store it, store the content with its new key, and we can return the result key. Now the code is ready. Let's run it and see if it does what we are expecting it to do. And here we go. First we store content1 and then return the key. And when we pass in something else, we get back a newly generated key. Okay, this looks very good, but it seems like it's a little bit superfluous. And indeed, Python supports multiple return values, so you can get rid of the necessity of using transfer objects. So let's comment this out and try to retrofit it, just the observed function, to use multiple return values. Like I said, we don't need the observed result. We could just return a tuple. This is the tuple syntax, but this is still a single value. We don't need to do that. We can return two values too. And so let's do that at all the return statements. And now we also can get the two values at the call site of the function. And we do it like this. We get the key and the isNew field just in the same order as we were returning it in the function. So there is no transfer object. There is no need to unpack the content of the transfer object. We can just use these as fresh new variables in a very compact syntax. And let's rerun this code to confirm that indeed we are seeing what we should be seeing. And yes, there it is. Of course, the IDs have changed because the fast store right now is just an in-memory dictionary. But again, a single store for content1, two keys returned for two calls, and a fresh key for content2. And this is it about multiple return values. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next one.